Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Truck it off.
Doctors, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. We the people, the People's Patriot Project.
Looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the WeP3 Team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Truck it off.
Hello, 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 and welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. It is 23rd of July, 2023, and every week we bring you a guest. Sometimes, actually most of the time, it's a new guest. Sometimes we just go with some of our favorites. This week, we will not disappoint. I do need to do a shout out real quick to Mike and Eric from Contagion Effect. We were guests on their show this week, and it's always fun. It's always fun to be part of somebody else's show and see how it runs from the other side. That goes along with another shout out to Bourbon Battle Buddies and Jonathan Crochet, who made that contact for us. So thank you, and thank you for always being there, Jonathan. This week it's going to bring us James Adrien, who we've had a couple conversations online, or email and online. James is going to bring some music. He's got some of his stories to tell and a bunch of things to share with us. So stay tuned for that conversation. Also, if you want to comment, and that's what we want you to do, we want to hear what you have to say most of the time. Just kidding. That's Lee. Lee's saying, hey, ladies. So please, if you're coming out as Facebook user and you want us to know who you are, please go in. I think Jonathan or Mark will put a link up here. It is through StreamYard, and all it does is makes that connection so that we know who's talking when you post. So hang on tight, and we're going to get to all that good stuff before we get to the other stuff. However, we would ask that you cover your heart, stand up if you can, take off your hat, and join us in the national anthem. Excuse me, in the Pledge of Allegiance. Gosh dang it, I'm not singing. We're doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America,
and to
and to the
the
republic for which it
for which it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice for all.
Jeremy, thank you. Oh my gosh, I've said that before. We don't do a national anthem.
It's all good.
By the
It's all
way.
Jeremy Daniels, good to see you, brother. Lee Williams, good to see you, brother. Jonathan Crochet, good to see you, brother. And our new friend, we'll call him new friend, James Adrien, who's
How you guys
in
doing?
the house tonight. Coming to us from New York. Excited to see what he has to say. Excited to hear his style of music. Excited to all these pieces. And again, Andrea did her shout outs, but again, she had another grandchild's birthday today. What number grandchild?
Oh boy. He's number 3.
Number 3, the third one of 72. And he is how old today?
Noah is 3. Today.
Third one, third birthday. And do you have a special guest there? I think you're
Emma. That's Emma.
There it is. She's going to take Vanna White's job when she's almost.
Yeah, she's got a few years. 2 years. Hopefully Vanna can hang on.
Jonathan Crochet, what do you got, brother?
All right, got some news today. And so today is National Hot Enough For You Day. Yes. At the particular moment that I found this little bit of information, I was sitting in my garage. It was 11 at night, and it was still 93 degrees. So yes, it is hot enough. Thanks for asking. Today is also National Parents Day. This is celebrating the people that raised you, taught you how to take care of yourself when you were young, the people that looked up, that you looked up to and wanted to be more like when you got older. For most of us, these are the people that have had the most important and influential years of our lives, and they are heavily responsible for making us into the men and women that we grew up to be. Show your parents some love today. Show them love every day, really, but especially today. And they probably deserve it if you were even remotely like me when you were growing up.
Yeah.
July 24th is International Self-Care Day. The day is designed to raise awareness to the importance of self-care as a primary focus of wellness. Make self-care a priority and make it part of your daily routine. You've likely heard it said, but you can't fill from an empty cup. So take care of yourself so that you have the ability to take care of others if and when the need arises. Also, a little bit of news. Anthony Dominic Benedetto, also known as Tony Bennett, born August 3rd, 1926, passed away July 21st, 2023. Tony Bennett was a United States Army veteran and an accomplished singer. He served in World War II in the 63rd Infantry Battalion. He was awarded a Bronze Star for his service in theater. And after leaving the military, he would pursue a singing career. And most of us have heard what that turned out to be. But he amassed tons of accolades for his vocal ability, 20 Grammy Awards, and sold over 50 million records worldwide. So thank you, Mr. Bennett, for your service in uniform and in music.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I wish I could say cool stuff about my service. I just fixed trucks for about 4 years.
Well, thank you. I drove trucks before you.
That's cool. I mean, and I kind of take that attitude sometimes, and it's like, okay, you know, I just did this, and I didn't get to go into battle, blah blah blah, and it's important to understand, man. And I heard some data today on a different show that there's only 1.3 million people in service. There's roughly 3 million people in every day. But you're doing more than 90%, 90+% than the rest of our country did. And it was a selfish decision, I'm hoping, a selfless decision, not selfish, selfless decision. It's not for the glam and glory. I guarantee you didn't enjoy your moments in boot camp. I guarantee you didn't enjoy. I'm sure you're in the field a few times that you maybe didn't get to have or live in the greatest grand experience ever. And, you know, working on trucks isn't that glamorous and glory either, but it needs to be done to make our country mission ready. And so don't minimize what you did, brother. Don't minimize. It was cool.
Yeah, man, you know, it was, you know, dirty and tough, and sometimes it seemed like nonsense, hurry up and wait. But, you know, I cured so many experiences in my life that I'll never regret.
Yeah, amen.
Sometimes I wonder if we should do what Korea does, South Korea, and just like put everybody in the service at some point in their life. You know what I mean?
I'm a school teacher as well, and I'm not sure I want that. That's my opinion.
You can't trust all these kids. You know what I mean?
I'm not confident I want that. I'm not ready for it. It'd be a great burden on our nation to create that. I'm sorry, moms and dads, if you think.
Yeah.
They gotta have 2 years of service in something. You volunteer in a hospital, you Peace Corps, you serve in the military. There's a lot of countries that have a mandatory 1 or 2 years. And I think
I'm not against doing some kind of service, but I don't want them in my military.
Right. I've met plenty of people that I would not want fighting next to me. I might regret saying that later, but yeah, I met a lot of people I would.
Not only that, but we're all of our forces. Well, the majority, 99% of our forces are volunteers. So that says something that these people actually, for the most part, want to be there. You know.
Want to do that. So I've been struggling. Here's my truth. I mean, Jonathan did a great job today. He didn't get his fill of Mark this week, and so he was concerned about where things were at and did a little buddy check. And I'm like, brother, I am good. We are good, but I'm not good here, and I'm going to tell you why. I went and I watched the film yesterday, and I've been. A post is coming. I just don't know how to do the post. I had the opportunity of going and watching Sounds of Freedom yesterday. It's the Tim Ballard story of helping and taking out the child sex trafficking chain industry. And Jim Caviezel is the primary actor in that movie. And oh my gosh, it's not even an issue that my eyes were open because I know this exists. Not personally front hand for. I know, I've heard, I've seen. It breaks my heart. And every single person with an ounce of morals needs to go watch this movie. They made it 5 years ago, which actually makes me a little sad in itself. They made it 5 years ago and haven't been able to get into the theaters because of the controversy it creates. There are people that do not want this truth out there. The truth is, today there are more children in slavery, not just slavery, sex-related trafficking slavery, than there's ever been in the history of mankind, slaves. That's based on data. I'm just saying this is the source of data that I've got. That completely 100% changes the narrative for me. I'm sorry, it does. And we're not going to go deep down this rabbit hole. Maybe this is a piece that the team can come together and we can create something in the future about having these conversations. But something needs to be done. And the theme of that film is God's children are not for sale. And again, if you need to take out the word God, do it. I'm fine with that. I want God. Children are not for sale. Period. I'm willing to stand on that box. I'm willing to have my boots on the ground. I'm willing to move out and do what it takes to stop that and as much. And I know this, that I will give everyone a chance to have a little bit of a say if you want to have a say, but please, for your sake, you need to feel a little bit of this pain. And that's what it came down to for me. I know it exists, and I've not really proactively done everything. Even though, and I hate saying it, a second mission, once the People's Patriot Project is off the ground doing and has the network that we need to have, it is a piece that I want to go attack. It is a piece that I want the network of WeP3 to go and proactively be a source to take this kind of crap out of this world. It needs to not exist. Go watch the film. It needs to be watched. You have to feel the pain.
I'm gonna have to go see it.
It's interesting that a lot of people don't go to action until they've been affected. If this movie does not affect you, then we need to. I'll say it. Check yourself. That's what I'll say. Oh, that's kind of a heavy one. Andrea, it looked like you were going to say something.
No, I just wanted to just add that if anyone that is listening or will listen in the near future, we do have people in that field scattered throughout our network too. So if that's something that you've done or you would like to get involved with, and you can't find some people, just let us know. We've got those contacts in the network as well. I don't think we share them outright though. You have to want to involved. So.
And then there's just a whole bunch of silly things going on right now. I don't even want to even entertain those conversations on them right now. We've got a lot of people, a lot of spaces that think that they get to tell other people how, what, where, and why they get to do what they do. And I love those conversations. And again, maybe we'll find a platform to bring some of those up. But I'd rather get to our guest tonight. Jonathan, you got something, brother?
No, you and I had a brief conversation about it today, and I think the most shocking statistic for me, which again, I haven't personally researched the data on this, but just based off of what I've heard, was that our country, the land of the free, was ranked so high in such an unpleasant category. That we would be leading the world in child trafficking, to me, it's absurd and shameful.
The United States leads the world. Number one, way to go, America. Mm-hmm. Number one in leading in the usage of the child sex trade. That's proud of that one right there.
So I haven't seen the movie you're talking about. I'm going to now, but I remember a while back watching a show. I believe it was called Crime Inc. And I saw it like on Netflix or something like that. But I mean, Crime Inc. If anybody can find a way to pull that up, whatever platform that you use, I remember this one specific episode that stood out to me. It was all like it all kind of covered like different, like one episode would be about a certain narcotic, another episode would be about like maybe the border patrol or whatever. Another one, this particular one, it was insane to me. It was about sex trafficking, and specifically they followed these guards. They were security guards. That is what they worked as. And I want to say that at least one or two of them were former military of some kind. But what they would do, their job description was pretty much sit there with an automatic firearm in a house. And we're talking somewhere in the Southwest, like one story, single family house with a driveway. We're talking like desert. And they would pull up with a van full of women, and they would unload them all into the house, pack them into a small room, or like a child's room size, like that. That's the room that they would get, and there'd be like 3 or 4 of them in there, just kind of tucked away, guarded with an automatic firearm. And what they were they were immigrants who came in with their family, and they were paying off a debt, either their own debt or a family member's debt. And that's how they did it, is that it was sex trafficking. And I just like watching this, they so casually like just breeze over these things in the show. And I'm just sitting there like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. How are they following these people with camera? That's how common it is. They just found these people. Hey, can we follow you with the camera? Sure. Just blur out our faces. And they're just like guarding these people. Man, like, it's just insane to me. Just like that they like right here, like it could be here, it could be next door.
It's the state of mind. It's the conscience of some of these people. It's the lack of morals, man. I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's hard to wrap your mind around, but it's just it's right outside. But yeah.
James Adrien of Standpoint, tell us about yourself a little bit, brother.
Well, I did serve a 4-year term in the military. I got out 2014, and I think we lost Andrea.
No, she's still here. She's just
okay.
Off camera.
Yeah, I got out in 2014. I completed my education, and I got a bachelor's in music industry and technology. I've always been an MC, and I've always created hip hop. But I just wanted to be able to hone my skills in the technical side of it. I'm kind of a software geek / MC / producer. And yeah, I create music, and I go around. I find open mics and showcases, and I put my music out there. I got the website. I make sure people can find me easily. I go by Standpoint or SP or just James. And yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I've never done anything like this before. This is really cool. It's kind of opening my eyes right here.
Get all these links up there so other people, give them a chance to go check your music out and your talents.
Yeah, and I've been like averting my eyes this way. I'm not ignoring. I'm just putting it on my page and everything. So yeah, if anybody's tuning in right now, hey, what's up? Stick around. It's going to get crazy.
It is going to get crazy. So, you said you've always. Tell me we were talking about this pre-show. Tell me some of the ways that you continue to do your music through your service. That was an interesting story.
Well, like what we were talking about before, Well, I've been doing it since I wrote my first rhyme when I was 11. When I graduated high school, I started recording, and my dad helped me out. Went halves on a sequencing keyboard, and I would like bang out some beats on there. Had a microphone, and a little cheap Fostex 8-track recorder. Like this is all just like this is yesterday's technology, but at the time I was so into it. Like, yeah, you had one take. You didn't want to keep doing takes over and over again because you couldn't erase the song, so it was like you had to get it perfect the first time. And it was good workshopping for me. I went on and I got an associate's in general education, and then as you know, I joined the military, and then I furthered my education through there. But I've always created, really it was my brother who got me into it, because my brother, he listened to a lot of West Coast hip hop, and I'm not like big on West Coast hip hop. We're talking about like NWA, different guys from over there. Like I said, I didn't really get headed too short, and that's what I grew up on, very profane stuff. But I was always more into the East Coast, so like Big Pun and Nas and like different artists like that I really got into. I try to recreate what they do in a way, because they're more cerebral, and they always seems like they're always trying to give their audience a little bit of insight. And even in the military, like when my NCOs would come into my barracks room and do the inspections, and then they would open up my closet door and they would see all my equipment in there. And I was kind of like nervous that they were like, what the hell is this? Get this out of here. You know what I mean? This is not supposed to be, this is supposed to be clothes, like get this out of here. But they were stoked about it. They're like, what is this? Like, how do you really record music in here? Like, yes, Sergeant, I do. It's like, this is amazing. Keep doing this. Like, I want to hear something, and like they found out, and they would put me up in front of the platoon and make me do these freestyles and stuff. And people went berserk, and they just, they really supported me. And it's really not what you would expect, hardcore military, but these guys are patting me on the back and, encouraging me to take my music to the next level.
I love it. Now, you said you made your first rhyme when?
Well, I was 11 years old, and I would never recite anything from it because it was absolutely wretched and embarrassing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's when I first like put the pen to the page. But like I most people will probably not really consider me an MC until like maybe senior year high school. When I actually started getting the hang of it. You know what I mean? Putting freestyles together and recording. And
so our first song tonight is called Wings. You got any lead in for Wings?
Wings. It's kind of about different side jobs that I've done, kind of like finding myself as a man and navigating my way in terms of what I could contribute to society and all this. I go into different odd jobs that I did growing up, and then into my service. And I think I don't want to give too much of it away. It's all in there. I hope you guys like it.
All right. This is James Adrien of Standpoint with Wings.
They used to write about truth and light. Now they choose to abuse the mic to boost the hype with some views and likes. Quite a few showed promise and faded quick. Others made it and blew the one opportunity they would get paid to sit and occupy a position of company retail operation system representative assistant to the sister subdivision district supervisor. That's some occupation on nobody's trade of interest. Wishing for any time but now, any place but here. Every cage to beer reminds of how many wasted years kept the widest smile on the face of fear. Decent day's work, measly wage. Monotonous as the copy machine stacking a piece of paper. Coffee and cream will wash down something to keep you pace for this week to weak behavior. You need to seek a savior. I ain't sure what this is supposed to mean. I just hope it brings a spark to start fixing your broken dreams. Just like dopamine as I float upstream. Sailed across an ocean for the boat to sink. It's just like dopamine as I float upstream. I guess I'll never take flight with these open wings. I Dug ditches 15 feet deep, depleted in 103-degree heat. At least to beat the hell out of that TV station, playing infomercials while they replaced me with some bitch that smelled like a Ninja Turtle. Then I worked as a shop clerk, pricing merchandise. You know God's work, but a lot worse with no job perks. If I learned one lesson of value for what it's worth is this personality. I was never cut out for customer service. I preferred army boots soaked in blood from lugging a rucksack on my shoulders until my toes opened up. His luck had it, I cheated death, avoided the greasy mess of Middle East war when I PCS 3 weeks before the boys left. They deployed and I can't even tell them peace be blessed, cause I'm not the one robbed of an easy rest. Soaking wet in cold sweats, dead soldiers, a road that I won't forget is far from over. These dreams ain't broken yet. Success is measured in milligrams. I will advance long as there's still a chance. Skills enhanced, no longer known for boasting. Most men don't know how to slow the roll, let alone hold control over their own emotion. The time will come to find the one underlying, undefined light shining bright as the blinding sun. I ain't sure what this is supposed to mean. I just hope it brings a spark to start fixing your broken dreams. It's just like dopamine as a float upstream. I sailed across an ocean for the boat to sink. It's just like dopamine as a float upstream. Now, watch me take flight with these open wings.
So what did you guys think? There's a lot in there.
Oh, Mike, that's outstanding.
Thank you. Yeah, I put that together for my last album there.
And your last album is called
Brainwaves.
Brainwaves.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
The thing I appreciate so much is, and again, I shared with you before, so many of the artists that we have in our network are our country. It's just the way, I don't know why, I don't know mathematically, I don't know if that's the way the world works. I mean, I listen cross-section to everything that I can, and I enjoy everything that I can. And it's nice, it's refreshing to get a little bit of a different flavor or something. And there was everyone gets to interpret music their own way. And I felt this very innocent approach to this song, but yet so much about life, so much engagement, so much to be done yet. I mean,
yes.
I don't know. There's something that captured to me and spoke to me a little bit.
I tried to say something, but I didn't realize I hadn't put myself on the screen yet or whatever. But if I heard right, there was a line in the song that said, "I don't know what this is supposed to mean. I just hope that it fixes broken dreams."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I like that.
100%.
Yeah. It's just kind of like we all. I think there's a lot of people in this world not really doing what they're called to do out of fear, or like maybe they just don't think they have enough to bring to the table. But really, I feel like if it's in your heart, if something's calling out to you, you got to go ahead and pursue that. Even if you have to maintain a 9-to-5, or you got to pay rent, but it's not all work. Sometimes it's about you. We talked about self-care earlier. Sometimes it's about yourself, and it feels selfish. Sometimes it's like, man, I got a kid over here, I got a wife over here, I got people to take care of. It's not selfish to take care of yourself or pursue your own dreams. It's actually the opposite. If you're doing what you can to make yourself happy, you're taking the burden off of people who love you to try to do that for you. It's your responsibility to pursue happens.
Oh my gosh, have you been watching our show or something? What the hell? You can't just lay that down there. It's something we talk about all the time is you're not guaranteed happiness. You're guaranteed the pursuit of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. And you're nailing you're hitting the head on the nail on everything with just you have to take the time, and we talk to our brothers and sisters regularly about how important it is just to if you're not available, if you're not ready, you're not good to the mission. That's the truth. I mean, we've all been down that road. Maybe you were supposed to go to bed a little bit earlier, and maybe you stood up with the boys the night, and roll calls at 0600, and you're getting to bed about 0400. I guarantee you've heard that story 100 million times in the military. You're not mission ready the next day, and not only was that was not self-care, that was self-destruction in a sense. It's okay to do that every once in a while, but you got to be ready. You got to be ready so you don't have to get ready, and that's the truth. And when there are the life's added responsibility of children and spouses and house payments and car payments and this, at the end of the day, if you're not taking care of business, then it doesn't matter. The banks don't care. There's the truth. They don't care. Stuff happens, and part of the reason they don't care is because no one's truthful. If everyone would be truthful about where they're at, we'd be in a lot better place, and maybe they'd be willing to lend a hand in other areas. And what I do like is the truth of Derek Iozio out there working with veterans with Catch 22. Thank you, brother. Never be sorry missing the show, because you can always come back and check it out at any given time. It's on YouTube. It's on all of our feeds, and so you are 100% a blessing down there, brother. I know you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing. As you were growing up and you were planning, putting the pieces together, feeding this thing, where did you want to go with it?
Man, I don't know. I mean, of course, it's a tough subject to broach, because I'm nowhere near what I had dreamed. I really just wanted to reach out to people. I just wanted to use this thing to give people the same feeling that I got when I was first getting heavy into hip hop culture. Like I said before, I was heavy into like more the East Coast side of things. There's guys that like put these beautiful songs together, and then I could share them with you after the show and everything, but like You're the Man by Nas. Nas put the song together, You're the Man. It's just like, it's so beautiful the way he put it together. He like kind of he's not just telling a story, he's like putting you there. He's like sitting you down in the chair where he sat, looking, you're looking in the mirror and you see like a king sitting in a throne, when like his reality was entirely different from this, but it was just like a self-realization type thing. And I felt it, even though I'm not a black dude from the projects. When he said it, I just felt it, and it inspired me. When like songs like that, that's what I want to capture. But like, of course, I have my own narrative, my own story, but I just think I have so much to offer people to inspire them. There might be other people just like me, or maybe they're nothing like me, but I like our human experience is we all want the same thing. We talked about the pursuit of happiness, and especially like as a man growing up, and what you had, there's expectations, you know what I mean? But I just want to tell stories. That's all I wanted. I used to be heavy into the punchlines and everything. I kind of grew out of that. I want to tell stories. I want to offer insight, and I want to try to reach out and connect with people. Because if I'm the only one showing up to the party, that's not a party. This is for other people. Like, as much as I would like to say, this is for me. I do this for me, for self-validation, to stand on this, like, paint this picture of integrity. Yes, of course, it's about integrity. It is about me. It's my music. I do it the way I want to do it, but I do it for other people. I do it because I want as many people to be positively affected by my music as possible. That's really my only goal and mission in this.
Well, I'm hearing the right words, because I'm hearing the word positive, and that's something that we're always quick to jump on, is positive messaging. Have you heard Topher?
Topher?
Yeah.
No.
Topher. He's a I think you'd like him. The Marine rapper as well. Just some of the genre people that you can connect with, and we can connect you with as well. I just there's a great feel, and he insists in positive messaging and insistent. And I love hearing that there are people in this world that are focusing on the positive. We spend so much time feeding we actually feed the negative, which I that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But and again, I also like how you eloquently say, you know what, there's a time and place for some of this stuff too. I like listen to this, but it's not something that I'm going to put out on the platform, and I appreciate that too, because bottom line, it is about the message. It's about what the message is. And we never know. We call it the tackle box. I know that's a corny piece, but we call it a tackle box because we never know what we're fishing for. Some people like to catch carp. Some people like to catch bullhead. Some people like to catch walleyes, sheephead, you name it. The tackle box has got to be full. And I appreciate your approach on this and the fact that you never know who's going to hear the message.
Yeah.
And the right person at the right time is going to hear the message. I'm going to parallel a little bit with the Sounds of Freedom, because it tormented me during this movie that this guy who's working for Homeland Security was just trying to go out and get 2 kids. And I'm like, there are 100 million kids involved in this, and you're worrying about 2. Well, he adds up. The numbers are astronomical, and again, it's going to take and require a complete cultural reconditioning to fix this problem. But you save 1. It's the classic starfish on the beach story where the young boy is out running up and down the beach throwing starfish into the ocean, and this old man walks up to him and says, "You're never going to make a difference." And the little boy looked to the older man, and said, "Well, I made a difference for that one." And that's really the truth. That's a piece we need to focus on. Yes, would we like to have 10,000 people chiming in to the We Got Your 6 at 6 podcast on every Sunday night at 16 or 1800? I would love that. The ones that need to hear it, Derek Ayos is coming here, Jeremy's here, Lee was here. Many of other people are reaching out on other channels, but they're the ones that are coming to hear the message, and they're the ones that need to hear the message. And the great piece is I'm hoping, my hope is that they will say, "Hey, man, I heard this guy, James Adrien, this week, and you should give it a listen." And again, we put all of James's links up, so it's all accessible here. We want to make sure. Hey, friend. I would love to say, "Hey, friend," too. You know who I am. I don't know who you are, and that's okay. Our good friends will let us know what's going down and who they are and what's going. And Andrea said she's coming back. She had a transition from her vehicle. She wasn't driving. She was a passenger, just to make that clear. So our next song that you got lined up for us is a song called Worse. Tell us about Worse.
You said it was a holiday today, right? Well, what holiday is it? National Parents' Day?
Yeah.
Perfect. I didn't even plan it like that, but it's perfect. Like I kind of touched earlier on, like a lot of the subject matter that most rappers cover nowadays. Like I just don't get heavy into. I don't even feel like I need to warrant it with, specifics. I just kind of like to stand on my own too and present my life the way that I see fit, the way that I lived it, and one of the things my father passed away pretty recently, maybe within a year to a year and a half ago. I think around this time last year he passed on, because it was this time last year that I was climbing a mountain in Yuma, Arizona, and with his ashes to spread them out. His favorite place he liked to hike. And I actually wrote this song before he passed on, which is crazy. Like, it's not the first time that this has happened where I wrote a song, dedicated it to a friend or a family member, and then they passed on. Unfortunately, he didn't get to hear this. He didn't get to hear it because I thought I was going to have time to show it to him when the album came out and be like, Dad, I did this song for you. It's out now. I put it on the album, you know, and I didn't get that opportunity. It was just sudden and random. The coroner said that it was something along those, like heart failure due to severe stress. So yeah, I guess, you know, he didn't always put this stuff out there. He wasn't like a talker, you know. So, but I guess he was under a lot of stress, and it got him. Oh yeah, and he had a mysterious stroke prior to this, so bad that he was like having convulsions or something like on the ground, and he like ended up, it was so bad he ended up like breaking his ankles and his arms, you know. So he was like in a cast. He was trying to recover. So I think that probably contributed it to a lot. Like, just, he was an active person, and he had to be bedridden for a long period of time. But like this is not on the song, because I mean I wrote the song for him before all this. But yeah, man, I love the hell out of my father. He actually, in the military, did skip a generation with him. He, as a young man, he was kind of a hippie. So I'm like a product of what would they call it, the swinging 60s or something, or the, you know, the hippie era. But he didn't just desert us. He did everything he could to make sure that we had the best lives possible. You know, he didn't just, oh, whoops, bye. He was only 18 when he had his first kid. And yeah, he stepped up and he brought it, man. He brought it. And man, I you know, you want to talk about stress. I mean, he really had his hands full with us. But that's what the song's about. It's about my dad. And you know, you don't hear a lot of father songs in hip hop. It's mostly fuck you, Dad, and like I love you, Mom. You know what I mean? It's always dear Mama, fuck Dad. But I feel like that would be disingenuous if I did that. If I didn't, even my friends who didn't have a good father figure growing up, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't at least, you know, write an ode to my father for actually, you know, because like I had that, you know, they didn't. So it's not like, you know, it's not to make anybody feel bad for not having it. It's just I did. So he definitely deserves a little bit of credit for it, and that's what the song is. It's called Worse.
This is James Adrien with Standpoint. Worse.
Wasn't half bad, and it could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. They say it could have been worse. Only kids living below the middle class, throwing every moment in the trash, wishing it would pass, buying a flash now. We reminisce to have 1 minute to relive a past that didn't last. Didn't bother me much, possibly cause I was honestly just too young to know what poverty was. You offered me hugs, fatherly love, plus all the above, and worked your ass off to see us. Always there to remind us that you're the boss in town. All the negative parts in the song crossed them out. Woke us to the coffee grounds. Peers of mine took us off the route. Slothful lounging on the couch. No talks about the when, how, the who's who, ins and outs. Then, now, in the future, how to win, how to lose, how to choose friends. So I ain't had to walk a mile in your shoes. It could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. They say it could have been worse. You taught us how to work, how to earn. When an earth spills my burn remnants over the dirt with the worms, I'm sure. Yearning to search indoors, cause first and foremost, you taught us how to learn. It's our turn, it had to be luck. I had you there to ladder me up when tragedy struck erratically. No matter how bad reality sucked, it was plug, battery in, up, at him again. Always there to remind us that you were awful proud. All the negative parts in the song crossed them out. Could have been a foster child. Peers of mine were often housed and lost and found, tossed around, left stranded. And man is the damage of abandonment. No second chances handed, no advantages. Most of them vanished. So I'll be damned if I ever take you for granted. It could have been a whole lot. Not half bad. Could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. Not half bad, could have been a whole lot. They say it could have been worse if it weren't for you.
There's a great story in there, brother.
I really, I lost my father as well, but it was at a point where I thought it might be a little, I felt like it was way too soon, right?
Yeah.
Not that I didn't have a large portion of life with him, which some people don't get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he passed when I was 21. But there was a specific part in there that stuck out to me because it's something that I learned as, you know, now that I'm a father, and there's so much teaching that you do with your children. And I never really kind of understood why you're so hard or why you're so intent on teaching them this one thing, right? Like, I need you to understand this. And there was a line in there that kind of just clicked with me is you teach your kids so that they don't have to walk a mile in your shoes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're trying to prevent, and you always hear like, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made, but for some reason it just, when you put it like that, it just it's a lot different.
Yeah, I can't really call it because, you know, the adversity, and some of it was self-inflicted, you know what I'm saying? But he managed to kind of like pull the nose up and get pretty far, man. Like really impressive what he was able to do. And like thanks to him, I didn't really have to face that much adversity, but I certainly didn't achieve nearly what he was a founding faculty at a really prestigious college. You know, he had multiple degrees under his belt, PhD, doctorate. He was incredibly smart, and he was humble about it. You know, really cool guy. But yeah, like that's why I wrote it, because unfortunately, dads have a tendency of dropping the ball. You know, and so that's why you hear so many anti-dad songs. But I couldn't do that, so I went the other way with it, and I thought it would be kind of unique. And yeah, rest in peace, Michael Miller.
Well, we are sorry for your loss, brother. And there were so many messages that were kind of consumed even in that, with the fact that he never got to hear the message. And I know that's probably just wrenching at your heart to begin with. But that is actually a part of the message we need to have right now is brothers and sisters, if you're listening or watching this the stream, and if you're listening to the podcast, it is essential. We all have one of these. And you really, the toughest piece is missing the last moment. That's a piece you can't get back, ever. It's the one, time ticks on. Life ticks on. Was talking to a friend just this week about, getting back to the norm after you lose someone. And there's no the narrative changes when you lose them. There is no back to the norm. It's just a rechange, refix. You got to move on. And there's still all the other pieces. And you've said you've got children, and you got to take those are pieces to it. Brothers and sisters, you have to. This is our weekly piece that we constantly ask. We ask you to reach out to your brothers and sisters. You got some messages coming in, brother.
Yeah, that's actually my mom.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, Mom. Love you. Yeah. Yep. That's where I got all this from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's essential to reach out to your brothers and sisters. Again, in this matter, your parents. Reach out when you can, how you can. It takes, we say 36 seconds to do a 6-pack. Hey, I was thinking about you. You can cut and paste that even. Hey, I was thinking about you. Reach out. We say it all the time. We know there's those out there doing push-ups. We know those out there doing ruck marches. We know those that are out there doing podcasts. We know if you want to effectively be boots on the ground, proactive, reach out to your brothers and sisters and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. I'm going to challenge you to have that hard conversation. The one that you had a thing with that maybe you just don't want to, but there's a piece inside you that cares. Reach out to that person. I'll tell you, there were a time that I was done with both of my sisters in my life. I was done with both of them. Done. I'm done. I'm so glad that it wasn't done forever. But I'm not in control of that time clock. I'm not in control of the hourglass. It could have been done, and here's the regret. I didn't get to talk to my father in a stable scenario for about 4 months up until he passed because we were in a conflict. And I was able to be there before he passed, but he wasn't who he was when I knew him, and so it wasn't the same. And I could have been in control. I am in control of that. You're in control of you. Bottom line, reach out to your brothers and sisters. Control what you can control. Oh boy.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those where like right towards the end things get weird, but like that's when things get weird, right? Right towards the end. That's always when it gets weird. Like, you know, you have a falling out, people get moody, people get depressed, and they start drawing boundaries. They start, putting up walls, cutting people off, or just not responding. That's when you gotta amp it up. That's when you gotta let them know that
the people of sound mind. I mean, and I'm sorry, I don't want to put all of our moms and dads in the graves before they need to be there, but I mean, the last thing they want to be is a burden of any kind. That's I hear that time in and time out and time again. I didn't want to burden you, so I just didn't reach out. Well, guess what? I'm being a dumbass because I'm like, oh, well, you're not reaching me, so I'm not going to reach out to you. Get over yourself, man. If these people are important to you, reach out to them. That's bottom line. Don't wake up tomorrow and say, oh, I wish I had reached out to him one more time. Oh, I wish I'd have told him I love him one more time. Guess what? You have time to do it right freaking now.
Yeah.
Sorry. I get a little worked up about some stuff.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, and then meanwhile, I was like, man, I wish I'd have paid more attention. It was like, what about the ones that are still right there? Like, you think you learned your lesson. You still got people that could probably use some help.
I should be more civilized than my WeP3 tuxedo.
Oh my god!
Again, I was trying to talk while I was on mute. I was going to say, not like Jeremy said, not dead yet. There's always time until there isn't. So make most of the time that you have.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, is to remind those who I'm guilty myself. Tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow. We'll go tomorrow. Let's go tomorrow. My kids have never been to Disney World because it was always, wait till the baby's 4. When the baby's 4, we'll go. Then there's another baby. Then you don't go. And then it was just life, and it was too busy, and the kids were busy with their things. And now I'm like, we got to do those things.
Not for all of us. There's another kid. I mean, then there comes a time when you got too many kids to go to Disney World.
Well, yeah, then there was when you have 5, how do you afford that bullshit when you're from Minnesota? We're gonna walk, kids.
Oh.
Hold out of your hats when cars go by.
I got you. I got you. There we go. We'll make sure no one.
Sorry about that. I don't.
National Broadcasters Association won't take us down because of your language.
I don't want to change the topic, but I was listening, James, and I don't know if you got into. You were talking about all the things that you wrote, and so I'm a language arts teacher, and it was had better effect a few years ago at the high school level. I used it at the middle school, but they're losing touch. But I always would break out my Tupac poems, book of poetry, published by his high school teacher, because he had a gift, he had a talent, he could put these words together, and he wrote. Look at Tupac. Nobody's like, oh, that guy's an amazing poet. But you know what he did? He wrote poetry, and then he turned it into his music, and it was. So I have a special place in my heart for some of that the gift and the talent that it takes to put that all together.
He definitely had a voice as well. I mean, the writing, the composition was there, but he had the voice, and it's those type of guys that like have that voice. Tupac had it. Old Dirty Bastard from Wu-Tang had it. DMX had it. Big Pun. So when you have the composition and the voice, you are a superstar. There ain't no stopping you. Nas, you know what I mean?
Can I throw Shaggy in there just because that voice?
Yeah, that's definitely a unique voice. Definitely a unique timbre.
I'm just talking about that. I know you're using a different voice term, but it's when they use that for their good causes and to get their good messages out. And I mean, sometimes the message isn't good, but it needs to be out there. That's an addition to their talent when they do that. So no, I use it to my advantage. So now I'll have some of your words to share as well. I'll be like, hey, listen to this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Miss Eichmann, you listen to that music? Yeah, you have no idea, kid. You have no idea. So, Tetris winners, Legos language. Sorry, Jeremy. I'm dirty. But Jeremy, good point. Use wheels for face. So back on the topic, you can't ever let those moments slip away. You can't. You got to take care of things when they're here, and it's too much if you wait. If you're dumb, admit it. If you're too far away, admit it. If you haven't reached out, admit it. Just don't let it just keep sliding.
Yeah. No such thing as too busy. That's you got to get rid of that verbiage. Never too busy. You're not. How busy are you? Are you willing to show up to their funeral? I mean, are you that busy? I mean,
yeah.
That's your option. That's your option. Well, brother, you got another song coming up. Nothing.
Oh yeah, this is a rough one. Well, let's try to keep it as light as possible. This one, I'm not sure why I picked it, but it's just one of my, admittedly, it's one of my personal favorites, only because it's the first time. It's the song that I've been postponing creating for like 3 albums. I'm not gonna make this song. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna hold this back. I didn't want to be that guy to do a song like this. It's so dark, and it's like what it is. It's a collage of like all my friends and family who passed on. You know, when you live long enough and you see enough people come and go, you can get kind of desensitized to it, numb, and almost to the point where, you know, as much as I hate to say it out loud, you almost like you take it in stride a little easier than you did before. You know, another person passes on, and you just can't seem to muster up enough emotion to cry about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a tough song, and then it was hard I had to admit something to myself to even start it. And it's actually kind of fast paced as well, only because like if I ever decided to perform the song and it was slower, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like I wrote one about a friend of mine, Walter Gonzalez, who he was like a big brother to me, He gave me so much insight and like helped me become a man. Like he would, you know, and I wrote the song. I've tried to perform it, and I break down into tears. I can get through it, but like I'm running out of breath. It's hard. It's a fast-paced song. I cover a lot of ground really quick. That's what it's about. It's about you know, friends of mine who passed on, and it's sort of a rest in peace type.
Well, this is James Adrien of Standpoint with Nothing.
About our common humanity. All stories interest me.
Matt Lawrence hung from the basketball rim. It was all morning for us past the ball to walk 10 yards past and saw him. As one of the cats I call friend chronic madness. One of the traps to fall in as for walk-ins, all I should have never known. Of all addictions he left alone, cause of death was shown to be methadone. Holding balance is challenging in a town that encourages greed to flourish without nurturing individual talent. Y'all were drastically crucial to my development as an MC. Radically influenced every aspect of me, each track completed. I crave your feedback, I need that. Even if you told me to redraft and the beat's whack, I keep asking why the good die young. I wanna curse the sky, top of my lungs, instead of light I'm tongue-tied. This world that we live in is will-crushing. How can I lose everybody and feel nothing?
Somewhere above, black eyes are smiling. The end is near and we're all dying. Give it up, no use in trying. The end is near and we're all dying.
My neighbor coach came over with a strange explanation pertaining to pain medication. 18 years of age then. In hindsight, I was too preoccupied with my little life to pay mind to what his doctor prescribed. Rewind more than a decade prior, I wasn't aware that he once lied life was on a highway. Apparently his bike collided with some three-wheeler. Physical therapy couldn't stop shotgun suicide. He was preparing me. College debt came, then the weight gain. Jim Brown wanted that escape lane for a place to stay clean, but Greyhound bus couldn't scrape change together for Great Dane. His mother began to take aim. She didn't play games. The freight train took him beyond the pressure. One bad slip, the pressure is gone, but the spirit lives on forever. Tricky when you're never shown what real love means. How can I lose everybody and feel nothing?
Somewhere above, black eyes are smiling. The end is near and we're all dying. Give it up, no use in trying. The end is near and we're all dying. We're all dying. We're all dying.
Everybody dies, even the guys who show you to Christ. Ryan Ressinger chose his wife unwisely. Tortured him till he took his own life with a bottle of oxycodone and said his goodbyes. My eyes witnessed C.J. Walker live with his diagnosis, cystic fibrosis. You'd rather be afflicted by locusts. I miss this guy so much. He's on to a greater existence. I know this. They say it's all for the best. Still, it's early to lay my father to rest. Maybe talking to get it off of my chest. Poured you into my hand and spread you out on your final resting place. Turned around to a camera, dead in my face, blood boiling. But you raised me to be receptive. Not the last message I would expect, Dad. So I'm glad you sent it. Once again, adjusting my steel cufflinks. Another funeral day and I feel nothing.
And some haunt me until I end up writing them. Certain themes keep coming up. Justice, loyalty, violence, death.
Great message, man. How many songs do you think you've produced?
I don't know, hundreds. But like I've only released, let's say, I do math now, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 times 4. What's that?
48.
48. Okay, thank you. Only released that many.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've gone through your YouTube channel, and it just seems you had album after album after album, and I'm intrigued, and I want to get into it and see where there's a ton of great stuff in there, man.
Yeah, man. I encourage you to check it out. Let me know what you think. You know, like it's a lot of stories in there, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of dark stuff, and you could definitely occupy some time with that.
What's next for James Adrien?
Man, I don't know. Yeah, like lately I've been messing with Funk and Waffles a lot. Funk and Waffles is a venue in Syracuse, and they put on a lot of shows, and they put me on a lot. I've had a lot of fun going over there, kind of workshopping. But I certainly want to start branching out more again. Maybe take some trips over to NYC and New Jersey, and just kind of seeing what's over there. Every time I go over there, it seems like I pick up a little bit more momentum, meet a little more interesting people who are nice enough to put me on as a showcased artist. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, right. I'm in a little bit of a lull because I just put that album out, and like I said, there's a lot in there. My songs are so lyric heavy that I just kind of dump everything out. And then once I do that, I gotta experience some more events in life and kind of get back to the music. I wish I had a camera so I could show you guys my setup and everything. Like I got this keyboard right here. This is sort of recent. It's different from the first keyboard I had because I could assign samples to it. So I'll do a lot of that, like just forgotten songs. I don't really pick a lot of hits, but like I've been getting heavy into this lately, assigning samples to it and sort of making my own thing out of it. Nobody can ever tell where it came from, and I'm gonna stop telling people where they come from. But kind of doing that, assigning samples is really kind of the future for me, and just making beats. Recording. I can't really show you my studio. I wish I could turn the thing all the way around. Will it turn all the way around, or am I going to disconnect you guys? Oh, you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it. Well, yeah. That's my little studio booth. And yeah, that's where I spend a lot of time. I also play too many damn video games in here. I hope this is not in my future too much. I've just been kind of occupying time, just sort of regathering a lot of inspiration and motivation, and trying to live as much as I can so that I can come back to it. But I'm definitely performing, still kind of performing and promoting Brainwaves right now. Yes, well, MIDI, yeah, I do throw a lot of MIDI in my stuff. Not really because I don't like MIDI. It's just I don't have as much fun messing with it. Like, sound design and stuff. I wanted to be a bigger sound designer, and I just can't. It's not my thing. It should be my thing. I should have got more into it. It's just like when I get motivated to create music, it's like you're sitting there and you're like altering sounds to sound just the way that you want. And like I said, I've done a lot of it. There's a lot of the songs on the album that are like that, but like the painstaking process of like tweaking sounds, envelope and like sound wave and all that stuff. It's just not like it's not what I set out to do. Primarily, I sample. I find sounds that sound as close to an instrument as possible. I'll do a little bit of tweaking, but I just like banging on the drum pad and like just getting rowdy, So yeah, I mess with MIDI, but mostly samples.
You have to help me out. What's MIDI?
So it's like it's digital. It's what's the best way to describe it? Synthesized sound. Okay. It's you open up a program like Logic, and there's a lot of stuff in there. Like the 80s was big on synthesized sound. All those old 80s hits you hear, with the overlays and the shimmer and these like odd kind of almost off-putting, disorienting sounds that they would pick out. There's a lot of synth in there, and MIDI is really just like programming those sounds. Like you can open up little patches of MIDI instruments and play it out on the keyboard. You could assign it to the keyboard and play it out. But yeah, that's what it is. And then you got the screen in front of you, so you can see all like note by note what you're playing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I still mess with it, but it's not like I don't know. I don't get as excited about it.
Fair enough. Outstanding conversation. Thank you so much
man.
for
Guys, thank you so much for inviting me. I've had so much fun. I'm so glad I did this, and I should really do some more stuff like this in the future.
Absolutely.
You know anybody else who does the interviews like this? Let me know. I want to do more, and I'm more than happy to come back on and hang out with you guys and just kind of, see what other kind of guests you bring on.
For sure.
There's one thing I wanted to say that I forgot to say. That second song, Worse. That singer, her name is Catherine Grace.
I was thinking that when it was playing. I was like,
So
she got
sorry.
a great voice, man.
Yes, she's amazing. I'm so sorry I forgot to say that. And Kat, if you ever get around to watching this, I'm sorry I didn't say it sooner. That's Catherine Grace. She helped me out a lot.
We got a little controversy going on here too. Came up in the messages here. Someone did text in and say, "Should we be offended?" He called 80s music off-putting.
Well, it's the sounds that they would pick, like, and I think I actually like that. I do. I listen to a lot of 80s and I listen to a lot of indie, but like a lot of the sounds that they would pick are kind of like almost kind of disorienting in a way, but like satisfyingly disorienting. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with you. I think they just want to poke a little bit, and that's the fun part of our network.
I love 80s.
Yeah, well.
I love the 80s. And and that 70s stuffy funk sound. Mm-hmm. Yes, all day long. Yes. That funk bass that just shakes your trunk. Yeah.
I don't know what shaking your trunk means, but yeah. No,
Well, you got to tighten up.
Yeah,
you got to tighten up the bolts on your license plate after every road
Yeah.
trip.
Oh, like Bootsy Collins and all those guys that like George Clinton, Prince.
Yeah. We actually have Bootsy Collins in our network a little bit here. Him and his son, yes.
Hell yeah.
Last year when we were down in Nashville for our event, we were supposed to have a conversation with Bootsy, but his son actually ended up in the hospital while we were there, and so it was not unfortunate, but I'm glad they got to do family, and that's it. Jonathan, you got anything in closing, brother?
I'd like to say two things. Number one, to you, James, you say after you write these songs and you go through the course of putting a whole new album out or whatever, that you got to take the time to recharge and by all means do that, because we need more James Adrien music. But I think from before you even said the words, it's kind of what I gathered listening to you, your personality, your music. I think storytelling is definitely what you're hitting, if that's what you're going for. Right. And I've gotten something out of every one of your songs tonight, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your music, and I'm looking forward to jumping over on YouTube and playing it until I go to sleep tonight.
Jonathan, thank you so much. Andrea, Mark, man, I'm gonna be very much in touch with all of you in the future.
I appreciate that. Andrew, you got anything in closing?
I just want to thanks James for coming on, and I just want to say James has been it's been a while since one of our guests has been like aggressively like, let's do this, and thorough. Yes. And I appreciate it. It's a nice, it's like an ocean breeze for me. I just got back home.
Same.
Anyway, yeah, I appreciate that a ton. So I also then want to mention next week's guests. We have Brandon Watts representing Operation Rally Point, and I'm pretty sure I saw Michael Madsen. Is that the one Michael Madsen is working with at Rally Point? Okay. I just want to make sure that was the connection. Of course, he does our radio station, so thank you, Michael. And then we have Derek Stoner with his music coming on next week. So, and then all of you in the comments section, I can't keep up. Some people's names aren't on there. And of course, we've got 18 different places where people are commenting. So it's hard to track it down, but I'm Derek Iozio. Thank you for popping in, and 100% the mission comes first. And we got you over here. Let us know if you need anything. And we miss you. It's been a while. And Coralie says, you don't want Gen X after you. So I guess, James, that's a little warning from the curtains. Look out. So thank you, Coralie. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I got. Next week we'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow at 4:30, same place. And then we'll rehash this, James. It'll be all about you tomorrow when we talk. So
all right.
You might want to tune in.
Till next time, guys.
You got anything in closing, James?
No, I think we covered a lot. I'm kind of, yeah, it was a lot. I got to kind of get a lot off my chest. I appreciate it.
And lastly from us, we got 3 links real quick I want to throw up there. Maybe, Jonathan, you can help me, and I'll rattle them off. We got WeP3 Radio's up, live, rolling. Thank you to Michael Matson with Foxhole Internet Radio Network. We always have the Buzz is up, running and rolling as well. Make sure, if you don't know what the Buzz is, there's a chance for you to air your opinions or your thoughts, your ideas, promote who you are, what you're doing. It's not a fundraising site for those nonprofits that are out there. You can share your mission. We want to share your mission. It's not a place to fundraise. So
just don't make us feel bad. Don't make us feel bad when we have to say sorry.
Yeah,
get rid of that. Just contact people. It's not there. That's a place to chat.
And make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us get to the point where we monetize it and we get and take care of all the pieces there. It's nice to be able to do the things that we're doing. We didn't say our pledge tonight, which is 100% okay. It's on all of our posts for the most part, but we know why we get to do this. We get to do this because the amazing men and women who put their name on the line, put their lives on the line, put their boots on the ground, and went out there and did something above and beyond themselves to accommodate the opportunity to pursue happiness in this pretty awesome, in most cases, country. You know what? There's not a country in the world like us. We can be better. I guarantee you that. We can be better. And we want to always know, what are you doing? If you don't like it, change it. And if you're going to do the same thing every day and not make any changes, that's the definition of insanity. We're with you. We love you. And we'll check you when the smoke clears tomorrow at 4:30 at the WeP3 Weekly Debrief. Thanks for coming and joining us tonight. We appreciate you. What did you say, Jonathan?
I was trying to catch in the weekly debrief part.
I was trying to shake it out of the head because I was having one of my moments there.
Yeah.
Adrian, if you got a chance to hang around for a moment, we'll get the credits rolling, and we'll just have a quick debrief here with us, just us.
All right.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. Patriot Pride.